Hey everybody, this is Grace. I am on my way to go buy some groceries by myself. Today is September 24th, 2025. It's 10:54 a.m. And this time I didn't want Adam going with me. I've been pretty ill this whole month. Seriously, I went to an urgent care yesterday, in fact. And it's the nicest people. Oh my goodness, I was sitting there, and I'm not kidding, it was everybody worked there. Everybody that I saw. There was 4 people. They were all women, and 4 people. The front desk, 2 front desk clerks, the MA, and the nurse practitioner. And just so sweet, oh my goodness, and it wasn't fake. You know, I jokingly tell people that my well, what's the term for it? My superpower is BS detection. I'm not really joking. Yeah. Oh, I mean, after all, you know, after all these other things, the education, yeah. But it's true. It really is when it comes down to it. And they were not faking it. Seriously, not faking it. You're not the type, you know, that they try to put on a face that they're understanding and they're this and they're that, when they don't give a crap. You know, who did this? Who thought this was a good idea, was to tell people who are like nurses, you know, in any way, doctors, to not feel for your patients? That's teaching. What is it teaching? Them not to have empathy, not to have compassion, no compassion, no empathy. Does anything sound familiar to you, like narcissism? Think about yourself. People doing it. Homo sapiens have been alive how many years? 300 million or 300,000? Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay. Have I said that I have been ill for most of it? Anyway, and they care for one another. Okay? Doctors, nurses, just think of the last couple of centuries. They actually cared about their patients. Oh my, what a thought. To care about people you're taking care of. No, they're teaching these, they don't. These women, I think they just ignored that. They were so sweet. Yeah, sweet. You know, and I'm not usually one, I use my videos to vent about the negative stuff, and especially lately, the healthcare. And here I am saying these women were so nice. I was just amazed. I really was. I mean, I could see, you know, like, you know, somebody really innocent. I'm sitting there, and it's the opposite. You know, like when somebody is bad, some people are sitting there and they're stunned because people are just so bad. I was sitting there stunned because they were so nice. You know, and like I said, they were not faking it. My BS detector did not go off at all. Amazing. So anyway, what brought me down that road? I was going to talk instead about why I'm going to shopping by myself, mainly because if Adam's with me, most of the stuff that I wanted to get is going to get forgotten because he's biting at the bit. You know, he's wanting to go out. He's older than I, and he smokes. Do I need to say more? Really? He smokes cigarettes, okay? And he's been in there too long. Nope. It's too much anxiety. He's got to get outside and smoke that cigarette. And like I said, by the time we get home, I mean, by the time I'm just in the store, sometimes he starts right away. And the things I need to get, even though I have the list, okay, he's just, come on, you ready? You ready yet? You ready yet? You ready yet? So, but you know, I have been ill, like I said, you know, and I before this month, I was starting to feel really great. I felt like I was back to my old self. I was going out there, you know, the grocery stuff, walking has been a problem, because I'd get some shortness of breath and all that, and so I would use those electric shopping carts. Well, I had stopped. I was able to walk around, do stuff like before. And then, bam, whatever it is, still don't know what it is, it hit me. This, I think it was like early this month, end of last month, but it knocked me down to the point where all I wanted to do was sleep. Seriously, all I wanted to do was sleep. And for a while there, like a week or so, all I could do is sleep. I mean, besides go to the bathroom, take my medications. I missed a bunch of them. That's not good. Seriously, it was not good. And and I couldn't even eat. I was probably eating, I don't even want to say, I was hardly eating anything, really. And then I think ramen noodles saved my life. Shouldn't say that. Don't anybody think of that. Don't use that. I have a rare health condition. What works for me is not going to be working for you, and vice versa. And it wasn't really even working for me. But at the same time, that's all I could eat. Really, ramen noodles, and I don't like them. I think I'm on a kick on them now, though. Every time I turn around, I have a new. I'm 62 years old, so it's something that my body is craving. It's definitely not like women, younger women would wonder. They started having weird cravings. Seriously, the past few years though, I've had weird cravings, and they're not bad, not all of them, but I had a weird craving, went on for a year or two, of wanting chef salad. I got to the point where I stopped using any meat because that's a lot of sodium. In a way, chef salad. But I would have the cheese and the eggs, usually just the whites. And I did that for like a year or two. That was probably the longest one. And then the more recent one before this month was corn nuts. I don't know why. And hamburger pickle slices. It's just this, like you have a burger and there's a pickle slice on it. They sell them in jars. And I had a thing for that. And not too many because they are salty. And I have to watch my salts, my sodium. So, but just some weird ones. And now I think it's ramen noodles. And I don't use that whole spice packet thing. I cut it in thirds. Yeah, thirds. Okay, anyway, I just go with my own flow in this video. I always do. So what am I saying? I'm not here making videos to get a bunch of followers, subscribers and all that. That's just not my thing. 11 years now, starting with my original channel, 11 years. So I have more than one channel over 11 years. Yeah, more than one topic. So anyway, but during this basically this whole month, I already put any videos up. I was really knocked down. And I couldn't eat because I did have a fever too for about a week or so during all of it. There were different phases, and I had a fever, and that's very unusual for me. I couldn't remember when I last had a fever like that, or a fever period. And I did see my nurse practitioner, a virtual visit, a video visit is what they call them. So, and I do not remember much of what she said to me. And they had ordered tests and imaging for the stomach area because what I was feeling was things like I can't eat, or it will scratch the inside of my abdomen. That's when my fever was really bad. Okay, I mean, what a thought that come out of my mouth. I do remember saying that. And so she ordered an imaging, which I was supposed to do today, but I canceled it. And I'll do it. I need a vacation. I had just told Adam I was feeling so much better. I wanted a vacation from all these doctors and nurse practitioners and test. Oh, they love their test. Never give a diagnosis, never explain the test results. They got to do their tests, and they know how to double talk their way out of it after each bit of test. It's supposed to be 1, but I get results for like 7. And when did you ask my permission to do that? You did not. Yeah, I see it the right way. When did they ask my permission? I'm seeing it the right way. Yes, I am. I'm talking graduate school. That's one of the things I learned. It's about the patient, not the doctor, not the provider. They don't think that way. Nope, we want to run more tests, and then we want to get to those procedures, those expensive, invasive procedures. Seriously. Oh boy, I got some stories to tell. Let me tell you. Yeah, it's not feeling so well. My what do you call it? My filter. It was gone. Lately, I've said that my filter, it's not so much, but my filter was thrown out the window. And I spoke to someone. I thought that was why she was calling. But remember, I was very ill and with fever. And I let her know how I saw this. I could have done myself a lot of harm by doing that. That was okay. Ever done something that later on you said, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I should know whenever I'm not well. Don't tell people. They're tired of every time you turn around, these doctors want to do tests. And they don't want to give any diagnosis. They don't want to. Oh, I'm so impressed. Aren't you, all of you, so impressed? Yeah, man. You can make noise. Anyway. Yeah, so this is just a little video. I don't know. Really. I was going to talk about the last time I came to this place. Went to a grocery store by myself. It was so freaking scary. Not this place, or was it this one? It was a superstore or super center. And I was by myself. Adam wasn't with me. I was in one of those electric shopping carts. And I had been shopping. And all of a sudden, from the front door, some man was screaming. I mean, he was screaming. Like threatening screaming. And we probably all watched some news and would probably do exactly like I did, to go, what? And everybody in the store that was around, they just stopped. Like they were in shock. I mean, he was screaming. And then, like everybody was in shock, like I said, you could see it. Then, other men started screaming. And, I mean, come on, what are we thinking? That when I couldn't understand what they were saying from where I was, and I was trying to think, where can I go? Where can I go? I didn't know the store's layout enough to go in the back or anything like that, and other people were quite panicked too. But apparently, I'm guessing it was some man was on some kind of drug, or he had that. There's this. I don't know. I don't want to diagnose, but there's some kind of neurological problem, I think, that some people cannot control, and they start yelling and stuff like that. Anyway, but when I did see it, because I was trying to go the other way, or was Adam with me, but on the other side of the store that time? I don't know. But I saw the men, and they were big. I'd already seen them in the store. They were really big men. 2 of them were together. They were like bodybuilders. I would say, not like that, I'd say they were. And huge. I mean, think like those. I don't watch boxers or wrestlers. I don't watch those, so I could be wrong here. But that big old muscles and all that. And the guy was yelling at the guy. And from across the store. And he was acting like he was going to go bounce over that checkout thing and go get that guy. It was something else. Unbelievable. So, anyway. Oh, I did a U-turn so I could park over here, and this car is going to get it. Aren't they? Nope. Because they did a U-turn too. Oh, a little bit before me. Oh, there, that's not even a parking spot. No wonder. That's reserved for law enforcement. So, anyway, hopefully I did it because not that one, but also right here, watch them both be taken by the time I get over there. Yes, indeed, they are taken. This is just lovely. This is just lovely. There were 2 of them over here. Two. Yeah. Anyway, just not my luck. Just not my luck at all. Actually, not the expression now, is it? I'm telling you, I never really liked using expressions, and I am horrible with the ones I do use. But, I cannot believe I had 3 spots. 3 spots open. And now none. And I'm not one because of, you know, I'm not have to go get an electronic shopping cart. I don't want to park a mile away. You know, like the people who can do so they can get their steps. Oh, somebody got that parking spot. Oh, well. You know, I'm probably going to drive around for a while. Oh my goodness, this has been unbelievable. I've never had this kind of trouble. There's a guy right there, the very first one. And he's put his groceries in there, came back, got in his car. Finally, I've been sitting here waiting. And you're going to go out the wrong way. Oh, I love people who know how to, so much better to, you know, drive better than the rest of us. Oh my. Hopefully I got in here okay, because that's a big SUV next to me. And I actually got room to get out. So okay. Yeah, that was a little exhausting. And I was using one of those shopping carts, but you know, you have to go to your car and all that, and so I still have to get a regular one because like I can fill this little shopping cart, electric shopping cart, that little bitty thing they have where you can put the groceries that you're gonna buy, but they'll never go back in there. Seriously. It can fit while I'm shopping, but once they put them in bags, yeah, you tell me. But anyway, you know, and there's always going to be somebody who's rude. Seriously, I've noticed this years ago when I hurt my knees. And I was at one of these bigger grocery stores, you know, the ones where you buy in bulk. And I had to use it. I had to hurt both of my knees, seriously. And so I used one, and there was this woman, I mean, just so rudely ran out in front of me, and I said, how rude. I mean, she was around my age, but she needed to get there first, so she had to run out in front of me. And I had to slam on the brake, you know, not really slam on the brakes, but I had to stop short. I mean, what is wrong with people? The whole me first thing, you know? And in this one, I was going down the aisle, you know, like, not the aisles, but the outside of the aisles. And I was in the right lane, okay? I was in the correct lane, which is right. And this guy was coming from the other direction. He saw something on an end cap, and he just stopped, looked right at me. He was a young man, looked right at me, and stopped right there anyway. And I had to stop and go around him. And you bet I said it. How rude. I mean, I don't have a problem saying how rude, really. You know, some people just weren't raised right, seriously. They just weren't. Oh my goodness. You know, who taught them manners? Or did they? At all. But, you know, some of it, you know, this is Texas, and I'm going to tell you, some of it is, if you're in one of those, it's your fault. You did something wrong, so we don't have to do anything. That kind of mentality. Some people were not raised right. And I'm not saying that's just Texans, but I've seen quite a bit of it. I'm Texan. I'm born and raised. And I've lived in other states. And I mean, I've seen it pretty much everywhere. But that whole, you know, oh, we're Christians, yet we're not going to pay, you know, be polite to people. But anyway, these were not Christians. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the one in that big bulk store. She could have been. I know you're saying, what are you saying? Anyway. Yeah. Okay, and I'd ask Adam if he wanted something to eat to get at Sonic over there. But the gas price was, that's a Walmart Supercenter, and they added a new a gas, where you get your gas. Plus it has a little convenience store there, which I've never seen at Walmart. So I don't, maybe I have. But the gas price is for regular, just unleaded, is $2.42. I was like, wow, I have not seen $2.42 on this side of this area. No, it's usually more expensive. So, all right, run out in front of me, stop and turn. Yeah, that's what you do. I'm telling you. But anyway, I could have done some videos while I was in there. I was sitting down, comfortable, that kind of thing. I just don't feel like it anymore. So that's how I started off on YouTube, because that's all I knew how. I saw that and I was like, well, I can do that. 11 years ago. Last month was 11 years. My original channel. And it's calming to me sometimes, Yeah, you don't know how to drive, do you? It was calming to me, but I don't know, I don't feel it much anymore. Since I've been sick this month so much, it's like I don't have energy. Really just don't have the energy to do the things, I usually do. And plus, I don't know if I said this earlier in this video, I need a break. I need a break from all these doctors and, well, the healthcare providers. Supposedly they're providers. To me, they're just sitting there saying, finding new ways to say, let's take more tests. We're going to take more tests. And never say the results to the test. It'll send me, once they get the results, they'll send me the results from taking these tests. But only one of them did. But they won't actually address it. You have to make an appointment. Since when are follow-up visits? Yeah, but they won't call them that. I think they call them consultations or something like that. If you need more consultation than what they sent, which was usually not an explanation of any of it. You see stuff that says abnormal, there's no explanation on what you should do or anything. And I mentioned this, I went off on somebody. I went off. I told this woman I thought that was her job because of the name of her job, and she had called me. And I just told her, I probably spent 45 minutes saying, what is this? They take the test, but then when it's time to talk about the results, no, they want to talk about taking more tests. They don't want to give a diagnosis. So I'm going to start I'm pushing all my appointments back to December. One of them I have to do a blood test 2 weeks before the appointment, so it has to be in November. Because of when that had been made, the appointment was on the 1st of December. But I'm going to move them all back. And that woman, she suggested I talk to somebody. So I told her, I said, I don't want to speak to anybody on the phone at all ever again. When you want to talk about people, I could see it. I could actually picture what was going on. There's no age group that I don't say it's some certain age group that does this. No, any age group does this. They're at work and they get to call a patient, in this case, a patient. So they go into an office, they have their cell phone, you know how people do that. They have it in their pocket and they flip it out so they can look at it, read the text that they're getting. Calling me on the phone, reading their text on their phone. Same while, because they are so distracted. It's like, are you listening? And then some of us remember the grapevine, they used to call it goes through the grapevine. Like it starts at me, and I tell them one thing, they listen wrong, and then they tell the next person, and it's totally different than what I say. They've added something to it, and that person tells somebody, and they've added something to it. By the time it gets back to me, the results from me leaving a message, say, for the doctor, it has absolutely nothing to do with what I said in the first place. So I don't want to waste my time. And this, so far, it's been a waste of time. One of them actually told me when I called, I said I needed to leave a message for the doctor. And she says, and I told her why, and I said it was something that happened in the ER. She goes, well, I'm not listening to you. I will not listen to you. I am only going to go by what he wrote on his medical records from your last visit. I'm like, oh my gosh. It had nothing to do with it, what he wrote. It had what to do at the ER that sent me to him. Oh, no. She wasn't going to listen to the patient. And he'd only seen me that one time. And then one time he says, continue taking. He said, continue taking some other medication. I said, first off, I had never been taking that medication. So why would he write to continue? You see what I'm saying? She was just messed up, really. And I think that what it is they are not there when they're there. They're too busy looking at sneaking out that cell phone from their pocket and looking at it. I really, truly believe that. And like I said, I don't care what age. There are ones that work there, and they were from young to around my age. So it doesn't matter. People see that chance. Oh, I got a chance. I can read all my texts. Oh, that's most important. Is my text. I'm on the job, but it's more important to text. But it's not everybody. We all know that. We all know that there's just some people like that. You know, it's not everybody. But the ones who do it, they really cause problems for people. Seriously. I'm waiting for an answer to it from a doctor, and they have screwed it all up. So anyway, what I told this woman is that what I want is everything has to be in writing through their portal. You know, any communication has to be through writing through their portal. And she told me the number to call to, that just all of a sudden, man, really? There was a car behind me. Of course, you know, people behind you think they're supposed to be in front of you far too often. Not everybody, but still. Anyway, she gave me a helpline number, and she said for me to call for that part, and that they can set it that way. She thinks they can set it that way to where they have to communicate to me through writing. But I can tell you what these doctors are going to do. You see, what I want is I want a copy of their medical records. When they get these tests, they run these tests. I want them to put it in writing in the medical records, the results and what the results mean. And then if they want to order new ones, to put it in writing why it's medically necessary. And you all know, as well as I do, they're going to find ways to work around that. Because all they're doing is taking tests. They're not doing any, what you would call doctoring. No, really, they're not going to make any diagnoses at all, period. They're not putting their name on it. They're just going to tweak the medication I'm already on. Seriously. That's what they do. Tweak the medication. Oh, well, we'll change this one to that. And that they call that treatment. No, it's not treatment. It's just putting my body through constant changes in medications, and I'm not doing it. And then, because I won't do it, it's my fault. You see? But they want to get through those tests. They got a whole bunch of tests they take, and then get to the procedures. You know, like the ones that they make $35,000 off of. Yeah, and if you don't want to do that, we're going to make more tests before then. But you're going to get to where you're going to do that procedure, invasive procedures. You're going to do that because we're working our way to that. I'm serious. I'm not cynical. I am not being cynical. Adam's going through the same thing with a totally different set of doctors. He's going through it. He's just shocked. And I need a break from it. I have such a really bad problem with being taken advantage of. And that's what this is. Okay? That's what it is. This is a system that's taking advantage These doctors, nurses, practitioners, whatever, they will call like a day or two before, have somebody from their office call and say, well, he needs or she needs to reschedule. You know, he has to cancel for that day because they're going on vacation, or they're planning on having an emergency that day. You plan on having an emergency with patient that day, or any emergency, really? You know, the people they're so ignorant they don't know what they're saying. Call. Oh, and I mean, some of these excuses are just unbelievable. But they do that. That's my time. I've had to make appointments around it, and they're going to do that because they can. Because they can. And you can't call a complaint line, because the complaint line, you call it, it's a recording. It says to leave a message with your name and your phone number and your date of birth and all that. And if you're irate, if your message sounds at all like you're upset and angry, we will refuse to call you back. Can you believe that shit? Sorry, shit. Yeah. strike that word. But can you believe it? They have it set up to where they do not have to take complaints. It's kind of like, yeah, there's something here in Texas, yeah. The same thing. You have to write it all out. This, I'm telling you. I was using the correct word, wasn't I? But anyway, I had already called Adam, and he's going to come get all these groceries and a whole bunch. I'll talk to y'all another video. Bye.